taxes on my mind. It's just the kind of thing leave myself behind. So gently swim to the ferryman you are. If you just come with me and see the beauty of
Here with the Moody Blues, Justin Hayward and John.
Hi, Steve.
Hi. When did the Moody Blues actually become an entity, and how many original members are left?
Well, I think it's where you start the beginning, really. It's whether the name of the band is where it starts, or where you start as people working together. And Ray Thomas, the flute player, and myself, we've actually been working since school days together. And but there was a sort of a gap in between whatever year to 1964, when Go Now came out. And then a year later, Justin and I rejoined the band. Well, it was 65.
66, beginning of 66, yeah.
And
it don't seem a
day too long, except the memory goes.
Sounds like yesterday.
You were coming on at a time where, if 66 was, it was late 66, right?
Yeah, that was during the summer of 66, early sort of summer of 66.
Now, the whole world was getting real psychedelic then, weren't they?
Well, that was about to come along about
another
few
year
months later, yeah.
So how were you were coming on at a time where people were, God, if you were doing acid, then you were okay. You were fit right in. So how did the Moody Blues fit into that? Sure. How did the Moody Blues fit into that whole?
The Moody Blues, really, the vehicle, the Moody Blues, is a different type of, I think, band to what was actually happening at that time. We sort of went along a different road to everyone else. We never ever tried to fit in to anything. And the only sort of ground rules we set ourselves was to write our own songs and to enjoy our own music. And when everyone else was sort of running around doing copies of American songs or whatever, we were just writing our own songs and getting no bookings.
So, I was going to say, that's awfully, I mean, no offense by it, but an awfully naive approach to. I mean, were you aware that possibly people would hate you and that would be the end of it?
It wasn't that. We were just after our own music.
Didn't care, really. You just had to give it a shot. You know, trust your own judgments and see what happened. 3 different endings to that. One where it was, you know, slow motion running together and, darling, I found you, and into her arms and everything. The best one, the one that we liked, we shot, was where the girl runs straight past me after all this stuff going on at the video, searching, seeking and all that, where she runs, I'm at the end of the corridor and she's, and she runs straight past me into Graham's arms, because Graham's always right behind me on stage. You know, she could have been looking at him all these years. Interesting for rock and roll as it could be for classical music, because stereo was confined to classical music, classical recordings at that time. And we said, yeah, we'd be interested. Like I say, we had no contract. We had a contract to do singles, but not to make an album. So they wanted a group to do a rock version of Dvorak's New World Symphony. You know, some bright spark in the marketing department had thought this was a great idea. You know, they would get this rock group to do Dvorak. So we said, yeah, we'll do that, anything. You know, as long as we can have 5 days in the studio, the record company studio, without anybody coming in and telling us what to do. So we went in the studio, and like John was saying, our own material, we went in and just recorded that. And we did recorded our own stage show. We brought Peter Nice, who did the orchestral arrangements, into The Conspiracy, and he did the gaps in between our numbers and took a lot of the themes that were in the songs that we'd already written. And then it was delivered to the Monday meeting. They used to have a Monday meeting at Decca where all the bods would sit round and pass judgment on all this pop record stuff, you know. And they played it to the Monday meeting, and they said, well, this is not Dvorak. And there was one lovely old man there, a man called Hugh Mendel. Huge Muddle, we used to call him, but Hugh Mendel, he was a beautiful man. And he said, yes, we know it's not Dvorak, but it's very good, isn't it? It's very good. So they said, oh, well, we'll put it out. And they released it as a budget price album. It was like 29.11 in old English money. And so it was part of a demonstration series. So they released it, and we were in France. We appeared on at Meedem, the big song festival in Meedem, playing Nights in White Satin. The next day, wallop, it was all over Europe and everything. The album started to take off. They quickly changed the cover, you know, took it off Dyramic Sound System, started the DRAM label, and there you go. It's like sold 5 million copies. The Dream was the one where we really made our mark, and surprisingly enough, although it's not our biggest selling album, that's the album that so many people remember going back through the years. I think it's probably to do with the title and the word Threshold. But I know I just listened to that on compact disc the other day, and Ray and I were saying, it's not bad, is it, really? It's all right, really.
On the children, we sent to NASA for one of their rockets, engineizers, so we could have at the beginning of the album. And they sent all their, their tapes over. And we listened to it, and it sounded dreadful. Really bad. Yeah. So we had to create our own, and I think the beginning of the Rocket and Children's Children is fantastic. I mean, it does sound real. And, but, I mean, we dropped a piano off the roof once to see what the sound was like and to record it.
And an old one.
An old one. I mean, we did have permission to do it.
Yeah.
But it was dreadful. All we had was, like, firewood and this dreadful sound.
A lot of the things like explosions and things and the computer noises were just watches, weren't they? And,
watches.
The computer noises, I think it's a lost chord, or watches in an ashtray. Just put them in a steel ashtray. We all took our watch off, and that was the noise. And then other stuff like rockets was just somebody striking a match, whoosh, and really slowing it down.
Yeah. Wow. We used to put like a couple of tape machines together, but like 12 feet apart. Mm-hmm. We used to be holding the tape, so we'd get this huge tape loop.
Right around the room.
Right around the room, and we'd have to hold it up ourselves with broom handles. Because the technology didn't exist then, of course.
Isn't life strange? A turn of the page can read like before. Passes by, our heart man will try. The sea will not wait, you know it makes me want to cry,
Another interesting thing about this album is that it happens this way.
That's right.
The record dropped out, you trod on it, then they had to go and buy a new one. So we actually sold twice as many.
What a money-making scheme.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing about, really, the serious part about this album is the photographs inside. I think it was one of the first time that infrared photography. And all these photographs were taken in the Lake District area of Great Britain, well, while we were on tour. Every goodbye deserves favour, of course, is EGBDF, which is, on the music scale. The procession of music and people through life.
Yeah, it was a good album. I mean, the whole idea was of the procession was that we went right from the early days of sort of caveman music, knocking two bones together, and then through drums, and then right up to the latest kind of technology. The history of the world in 3.5 minutes of inside.
Yeah.